when he fall in the well. Did you see Uncle Lou when he fall in the well? I said he fell so deep, thought he went straight to hell. Did you see Uncle Lou when he fall in the well?
Whoa. Girls, we out doing
What we gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
DJ Sampler.
Way out west, there lives this dame. She'll put any dancer oh to shame. If you want to watch her dance, want to watch her prance, get her in a circle, watch that lady dance. She got a west end move, she got a west end groove, she got a west end move, she got a west end groove. Take me and let me show how we does go. Cause when you come to West End, you might
Good afternoon, Bahamas. Good afternoon. Let's give people some time to get on. You know what to do when you get on. Share in your WhatsApp group, share on all your social platforms. Okay, good afternoon and good evening. Good evening, Bahamas, and welcome. Tonight we're streaming from our Facebook pages, as well as our YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. We're also streaming from our international platform, which is the Daily Motion in Europe. We're also streaming from our Russia channel, which is Tele2, the China channel, which is the VKTV, as well. No, that is Russia. I'm sorry, Russia, which is VKTV, as well as our China platform, which is Hew You and Do You. Okay. When you get on, please share this live. We have a lot of interesting topics to cover, mainly the treasure. Okay, so get in, share the live, share it in your WhatsApp groups, share it on all of your social platforms. We must get the word out. Okay? Once again, for everyone that is joining, good evening and welcome, welcome, welcome. Share the live, share it through your WhatsApp groups, Facebook pages, all of your social platforms. We're streaming live from Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as our international platforms, Russia, China, and Europe. Good night to everybody. I see Queen Ferguson, Darren Stubbs. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sincere Delancey, Eddie Smith. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Celestine Nubol. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for always sharing the live. You are a part of the solution. Thank you for sharing the live. Crystal Butler, Miss Butler, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Karen DeMayo, thank you for joining us. Welcome, welcome, Bahamanessa, John Roll. Thank you for being here with us. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to join in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good night, Shanique Missick, Miss Deborah Raming. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We have a lot to cover this evening. The topic that everyone wants to know about, the billions of dollars of treasure. The billions. I think we're doing that a little injustice by saying billions. I would go as far as to saying trillions. Our seas are filled with trillions. Trillions. That's powerful. That's powerful. I can't wait for us to get into this information that Mr. Bean is going to share with us. All right, everyone, we are going to bring Mr. Bean on. Mr. Bean,
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and good afternoon to the world. Thank all of y'all for being here and being here with us. It is always a wonderful pleasure to do this. As you can see, that we are broadcasting from everywhere tonight. We're broadcasting in the Bahamas, where we have been having lots and lots of issues with our government influencing media houses to not get the word out. What we did is we went around them. Not only are we broadcasting in the Bahamas, but we are broadcasting to the world. And we are currently having conversations with more areas where this will be broadcast. And so, right now, as she said, we're broadcasting on YouTube, on the Coalition of Independence page, on the Bahamian Evolution page, and on my Lincoln Bain page. We're broadcasting on Facebook, um, on the Lincoln Bain page. We're also broadcasting on the Coalition of Independence page and the Bahamian Evolution page. So if you have a problem with Facebook, which I see one of our Facebook, I'm not sure which one, links had an issue already, we're still on other platforms. All right. So we're on Facebook, on all of these platforms. We're also on Twitter, broadcasting live on Twitter. And so you can join us there if you want to. If you have family members that don't have one platform or the next one, you can just refer them to another one. All right. We are also broadcasting live on our website, on what we call COI TV. We're broadcasting live on COI TV on our website, and you can go there at any time and see the video. Even if for some reason social media is under control, or we are being muffled or muscled, they can't muscle us on our own website. And so you can go to our website at any time and you can view the videos. And so you can also share the website on that actual page on the website, our page called the COI TV. You can share that with your family and friends if they're not on social media. Okay. And so thank all of you for tuning in. Conkley, I see you. Leonardo Sweeting, I see you. Thank you for being here. Deborah, I see you. And to everyone around the world. So we're going to keep the comments up. What we've noticed is that they're influencing the numbers. You may look on your numbers in the corner, right in the corner, right there, and you may be seeing a small amount of people. That is not the real numbers. The numbers are much bigger than that. I can see it on the software. Last week, on Bahamian Evolution page alone, we had 18,000 viewers on the Bahamian Evolution page. And so the numbers you saw was very incorrect. That's where they're trying to tamper with the broadcast. But we have gotten out and we've bust out around the world. So don't mind those numbers that you're seeing. They are definitely not correct. We are also broadcasting, like she said, on other platforms like Daily Motion. And so we are on Daily Motion, which is another platform similar to YouTube. And so we're also in Europe. We're broadcasting on Tele2. So thank you to everyone on Tele2 who is broadcasting live with us and watching us live, to all of our friends in Europe and from around the world. Um, uh, we're also broadcasting on, in Russia, we're broadcasting on VKTV. And in China, we're on Huya and Duyo. All right. And so that's two different platforms. And so we want to thank all of you for tuning in. And we'll be on even more platforms next week. So we're going to be everywhere. We are going to be everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. So we want to thank all of you for tuning in as you always do. But we want you to spend the night with me and our chairman, Ms. Green, who because we got some information for y'all. We're going to talk about several things tonight. We're going to talk about several things, and some of those things are very disturbing. All right, some of those things are very disturbing. And we got bittersweet news for you about our treasure. Bittersweet news for you about our treasure. But before we get into our treasure, we wanted to talk about just briefly about the government and the deal that they just signed. We wanted to bring you up to date just quickly on that and get to talking um, about our treasure. We're going to show you some stuff. All right. We need to have a discussion about that because trillions of dollars worth of treasure was found. But again, we're not going to benefit at all. And this is a crime against humanity. And we got to fix this as a people. All right. Before we do that, I just briefly wanted to show you, a couple of things. Um, our government went to Los Angeles recently and signed into an agreement with 19 other nations, 20 nations signed, including our government. They signed onto an agreement basically to open our borders. And we're going to show you this in a minute. They signed on to an agreement to open our borders and to allow certain things to happen. And they did it for whatever reason they did it. We don't know. We don't know why they did it, but it seems to be for money because money was offered. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that our country, our nation, is in serious trouble. We are seriously concerned as to whether there's going to be something left for us in short order. We are seriously concerned about this. And so we are not fully concerned about what they signed. The biggest concern we have is that they came back and pretended like they didn't sign anything and like they were being pressured to do something. And that is what our government did. And that's what we had a problem with. Our prime minister stood up and said nations were trying to pressure them into signing some agreement, which he knows wasn't the truth. And so I'm going to show you right now this video of actually what was signed, and we're going to discuss it. I showed you our prime minister standing behind Biden before, and I showed you our prime minister sitting at the table with everyone else where they were doing this deal. And we are seriously concerned, deathly concerned. When I say deathly concerned, I mean we are deathly concerned about what they signed because Haiti is in turmoil. Haiti is in serious turmoil, and it seems to be spilling over to us and our country. And I don't think we're ready. Why? Not because of an immigration problem, but because of a corruption problem that we're having as a people. And so I'm about to show you something that seriously disturbs me. Let's discuss this.
This declaration, we're transforming our approach to manage migration in the Americas.
U.S. President Joe Biden, along with fellow leaders from the Western Hemisphere Friday, unveiled a new set of measures to confront the regional migration crisis, seeking to salvage an America's summit roiled by division.
Los Angeles Declaration is built around four core pillars. First, stability and assistance, making sure communities that are welcoming refugees can afford to care for them, to educate them in their education, medical care, shelter, and job opportunities. Second,
Uh, ladies, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you heard what I just heard. I don't know if you heard what I just heard, but I just heard him talking about providing finances for these nations. helping these nations that are now going to be bringing in illegal immigrants, with educating the illegal immigrants, providing food and shelter for these illegal immigrants, but opening up the borders to these illegal immigrants in our country. Our government never discussed this with us. They never mentioned this in our House of Assembly, and they never told us that this was discussed. This is a serious situation for us. Ms. Green, you just heard him say that they have four pillars, and the first pillar is one, they're going to be providing assistance so that the governments who accept these people will have some money to deal with them. Did you hear that?
Yes, Lincoln, I heard that. It's rather odd our government would sign on to such a deal when in fact our education system is very weak and appears to be unstable. Our health system is almost null and void, and that is on life support. And the funding that they are accepting to do these things, we don't know how much it is. There's no information provided to us, letting us know what it is, how much it is, and how it's going to be applied. They're saying it's going to be applied to the health and education of the immigrants that would be coming into our country. But we're not even applying what we have to what we have now, and that is a health system that is in crisis. I don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, it sounds like this is a nation for sale where we're going to be having to house these people. They're going to give us some money. It's like a bad parent, a bad mother who doesn't want to take care of their children. They'll have a sister or a family member take care of the child, and every once a month they'll come and give them some money and say, "Yeah, just take care of my child. I don't want that stress. I don't want to have to deal with that. Yeah, here's a few dollars and you deal with that." That's what this looks like to me. I'm gonna replay that, and then I'm gonna let it continue.
Manager's Declaration is built around four core pillars. First, stability and assistance, making sure communities that are welcoming refugees can afford to care for them, to educate them, in their education, medical care, shelter, and job opportunities. Second, increase.
He just said job opportunities for these immigrants. So I'm saying this because I want the Bahamas to realize what is about to happen. You're concerned now about certain people getting all the jobs, etc., and that you're battling for jobs. He just talked about job opportunities for these persons. And so this is going to another level, and this has not been discussed in our nation. And even though our prime minister was asked, he was asked, he was asked, sorry, he stated that they were trying to pressure him to do certain things. No one in the media asked him for details. No one asked him which nations were pressuring you. What is it that they were pressuring you with? What was said at the table? No one asked him real questions. But now we're hearing about job opportunities and everything else for these immigrants.
Lincoln, and the amazing thing about this is we're not hearing this from our leadership. It seems like we're receiving secondhand information from international platforms, from other leaders of other countries. And I don't think that is fair to the Bahamian people. We are already a nation in crisis when it comes to employment, like I said, health, and our education system. Um, I think we really need to push for our Freedom of Information Act to be enacted because we are lost without information. Our leaders are going on these international platforms, signing deals on the behalf of the Bahamian people, and we know nothing about it. The only time we hear about the details of the information or contract or deal signed is when the international platform speaks about it.
Wow, that's serious. I'm going to continue.
First, stability and assistance. Making sure communities that are welcoming refugees can afford to care for them, to educate them in their education, medical care, shelter, and job opportunities. Second, increasing pathways for legal migration throughout the region, as well as protections for refugees. Third, working together to implement a more humane and coordinated border management system. And finally, making sure we're working together to respond to emergencies.
20 countries joined Biden for a ceremonial rollout of the plan, though several others stayed away. Some analysts are skeptical that the pledges are even meaningful enough to make a significant difference. Just a day earlier, the same day the summit kicked off in Los Angeles, asylum seeking migrants from Central and South America arrived at the U.S. border on rafts after crossing the Rio Grande River in Texas, another example of the illegal migration crisis still plaguing the U.S. Meanwhile, in California, there was a partial boycott of the summit by leaders, including Mexico's president, to protest Washington's exclusion of leftist U.S. antagonists Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua. The Biden administration, facing a record flow of illegal migrants at its southern border, pledged hundreds of millions of dollars in aid as part of a U.S.-led pact dubbed the Los Angeles Declaration, aimed at creating incentives for countries taking in large numbers of migrants and spreading responsibility across the region. The plan culminates a summit by Biden that was designed to reestablish U.S. influence among its southern neighbors, including a new economic partnership that appears to be a work in progress.
Lincoln, I have a question before you go
Yes.
further. Um, if we have all of these countries or the United Nations coming together to place funding in other countries to accept immigrants, why can't they take that same funding and inject into that economy for that country?
Can you say it one more time? I wasn't able to get you just now.
Okay, so we have the United States or the United Nations talking about giving countries funding to take in migrants. Okay, when it comes to the health, education, work, employment, to assist them within another country. Why can't they inject that same funding within their country to assist the situation what's going on there?
Yes, of course, it's because they are trying to make sure that as they said in the article just now, that they're trying to spread this towards all of the countries. So countries that would accept these persons, they're trying to make sure that they get other people to take them because they know a lot of people are trying to get to the U.S. and Canada. So instead of having all these people come there and having to house them, feed them, educate them, it's going to cause an infrastructural problem if they take all of these people in so suddenly, because now you need more schools and communities because you can't deny children. You need more hospitals. You need more of everything, police officers, everything to deal with this. So what they're doing is they're trying to spread it out to all of these countries. Okay? And if you're going to do that, then simply tell your people. Don't lie to us. It's what our government is doing. Tell your people that listen, there is a tragedy going on in the world. The bigger nations are putting together a package. America alone is putting together hundreds of millions of dollars to assist. A $314 million package they're putting together. There's another $65 million package and another $25 million package that they're putting together. And so these are some of the things that they're doing. And we have been having a problem. We have a unique situation where people are also trying to migrate to our country. And we don't have the resources to deal with a lot of things, especially illegal immigrants. We don't have the resources in our country to deal with it. And we have a corrupt nation. And this is causing a major problem. It's also causing another problem, a humanitarian problem, is because the illegal immigrants would come here, have children, and these children would be at a disadvantage, living in situations that no child should live in, without electricity, water, plumbing, etc., and the type of housing that they're living in. It should not be allowed to happen in this country. They're allowed to be second-class citizens in the country. They can't have a driver's license. They can't open a business. They can't do certain things because they don't have proper identification, and it causes a crime problem. And we're suffering from crime, and all of this is a part of the bigger problem that we're having, and no one is dealing with it. Okay, and so we can't handle this, but our government has decided to take a few dollars to accept this. To accept this, it's corruption from the illegal immigrants who are paying off our government, and now it's more money coming from the north to say, "Listen, keep these people," and so they're being flooded with money. Our politicians are, and so their pockets are going to be fattened, and we are going to be the ones to suffer at the end of the day. Remember, they don't live in your communities. They live in their gated communities. Their children don't go to the schools your children go to. If they get sick, they're going to jump on a plane and go to the hospital. Whenever you hear of Hubert Ingram going to the hospital, he would jump on a plane. Brave Davis, same thing. He got COVID. He wasn't like you. He jumped on a plane. And so these people don't live in the same situations we live in. And so we need to deal with this.
Just a couple of weeks ago, Lincoln, we were told that Princess Margaret Hospital is busting at the seams. And how are we able to take care of another nation with one hospital?
Can you say it again one more time?
Yes, I said just a couple of weeks ago, we were told that Princess Margaret Hospital is busting at the seams. How are we
Yes,
able to take care? How are we able to take care of migrants when we cannot foster health care to our own people?
we can't.
It,
It's as
it
simple
has to make sense.
unless they're going to give us money to build new hospitals and build everything else that we need. We can't at this time. We can't. It is not doable for us. All
Lincoln,
right.
I don't think any of our people would have a problem with the migration of any any nation, with the migration of any type of people, if it was being done properly. You know, persons are saying Bahamians are moving to Canada. Canada has a system set up. We're able to take persons in. They know who is in their country.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Bean said, we have a corruption problem. If we could have our country set up in a systematic way where we can bring in immigrants, we can help. But if we're not set up properly to take persons in, it doesn't make sense. We have to see that this is a problem.
Yeah. And so we have also have persons on the inside of our country who were working against our country. We had certain activists who were going and bad mouthing our country, etc., to the international community. And so we have been fighting from within, and now we have certain pressures from without because our government is bending to this. And a lot of people, I hope you remember this. If you're Bahamian, you should remember what we experienced a few years ago, where we had some very well funded activists who were, I mean, basically, uh, they were going out there and lying on the Bahamas. You will remember this from just a few years ago that they went to the U.S. Senate and to other bodies. This is Louis Georges, a Haitian who has been given Bahamian citizenship, and Fred Smith, a well-known lawyer in this country. Paco Nunez is there also, and also Mr. Joseph Davel is there. Louis Georges has been encouraging illegal immigration and illegal migration for a very long time in this country, encouraging lawlessness in this country, and pretending that they're doing it for human rights. Okay, and so see here, they said yesterday human rights activists briefed the United States Senate on human rights violations. They're talking about us as a country. They said that we are violating human rights. This is a serious charge they made against our country that they believe are being committed under the government's new immigration policy. The president of Human Rights Association, Fred Smith, flew to Washington, D.C. With these other persons and said, according to a statement from the association, their organization was hosted by the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations at a panel discussion on the state of human rights in the Bahamas. Grand Bahama human rights members told the Senate that since November 2014, I want you to remember this. I want you to pay close attention to this. They said that since November 1st, 2014, the government has carried out mass immigration raids. That's a human rights violation because there were immigration raids. They said, and roadblocks in direct violation of fundamental rights enshrined in the Bahamas Constitution. So at this time, the government was going into shanty towns and looking for illegal immigrants. They weren't locking up persons who had papers or who were legal. But they went to the U.S. Senate and told the U.S. Senate, and this their words, they said that they told the U.S. Senate that the government has carried out mass immigration raids and roadblocks in direct violation of the fundamental rights enshrined in the Bahamas Constitution. So they are telling the international community that we were breaking our constitutional laws by locking up illegal immigrants and having roadblocks and road checks to find them. They also told of hundreds of cases of wrongful detention and illegal deportation. You see what they call it? Illegal, hundreds of cases of wrongful detention and illegal deportations. And a total breakdown of due process, they said, as well as numerous claims of physical and emotional abuse at the hands of law enforcement officers. Wow. So they said that the officers was abusing, physically and emotionally abusing these people. When the truth was, I've showed you the newspaper, the news story already, where when the immigration officers went to try to arrest these illegal immigrants, the immigration officers were being abused. The immigration officers were being assaulted. The immigration officers were being stopped. They had persons who of Haitian descent in the police force who were stopping immigration officers from doing what they're supposed to do. All right, so these kinds of things is what we have to deal with. And so once we get to a point where we are overwhelmed because now the government has signed on to a policy where we're going to flood our country with persons who are more aggressive than us and who are going to literally get to the point of overtaking us, I don't know where we go from there. But I know one thing. Bahamians have to stand up. And a clarion call is coming. A clarion call is coming. And so we just wanted to just brief you on that for a minute. We have to continue that conversation because that's not something that we can let go. We have to continue that conversation. But I'm afraid for our nation because we have corrupt leaders, a police force that is sold out. We have politicians that have sold out. And we have a people who are politically divided, that whatever their government does is wrong, they can make excuses and lie for them. And we have a people who are soft. And so we need change. And so we hope that we get this change sooner than later. And so we want to, you have any last words on that particular topic before we move on, Ms. Green?
I have a lay in reference to that, but right now I am so excited to get into the trillions of dollars worth of treasure in our seas.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know where to start with this. We are people who have been abused for so long. Our country is the richest country in the world. The richest, by far. We couldn't tell people everything when we were advocating for this stuff. But we wanted to let people know that by now, every single Bahamian would have been extremely wealthy. But they didn't listen. But I think more and more persons are ready to listen. How do you feel about that, Ms. Green?
I think we had to go through this process, Lincoln. Everything happened, I think the way it was supposed to happen. I understand that as simple as telling persons that they can actually receive $100,000 a year. That was difficult for them to. They believe that they're not deserving of it, and they believe that it was impossible. Okay, right now you have U.S. citizens who are receiving tax return at the end of the year. Okay, we have natural resources. We have um, foreigners making so much money off of our resources. Why can Bahamians receive funding at the end of the year? Each Bahamian. We have to keep asking ourselves, why not? It's possible. Now look what is happening in our seas. We have we have the sand, the soil, the aragonite, now the treasure.
This is something else, and so we're gonna have a discussion with this. We want you to sit with us. We want you to sit with us as we go through this. We're gonna show you a couple of videos because you deserve to see this. Bahamas, you must see this. International community that is here, you must see this. The Bahamas is the richest nation in the world, and we're
Yes.
being robbed blindly. But you're going to see it now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we just want to again show you this little clip, and then we're going to show you exactly what is going on in the Bahamas. We're actually going to pull up some documents also that is going to allow you to see the treasure that has been found in our country. If you're looking for entertainment and laughs, this one is not funny. You can go to some other live. But this is serious because you have a nation of people who are wealthy, but our government is giving it away. Watch this news article.
Of sunken treasure that has been at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean for centuries.
And it'll soon be on display for you to see. Local 10's Cody Weddle is in the newsroom to show us what all from the deep in the Bahamas.
Yeah, it's many people's dream to find lost treasure, and that's exactly what happened in the Bahamas more than 350 years after a legendary shipwreck. Check out what they found: gold chains, emerald pendants, and coins. They're believed to come from the Nuestra Señora de las Maravillas, a ship that sank way back in 1656. Archaeologists believe the treasures were destined for aristocrats or maybe even royalty. The Maravilla sank off of Little Bahama. There were 650 people aboard when it collided with another ship in its fleet and sank. Only 45 people survived. Enthusiast and explorer Carl Allen had been searching for years with his company, Allen Exploration. And after all of that searching, they found those jewel-encrusted pendants, gold chains, and many priceless gems. And unlike previous discoveries from the shipwreck that were not reported, all of these findings will end up in a museum. The Bahamas Maritime Museum opens up to the public next Monday in Freeport, Bahamas. We have put a link on our website, local10.com, with more information about that special showing.
Ladies and gentlemen, about 2 years ago, I told you what was going on. I told everyone in the Bahamas, before any of the newspapers started covering it, I explained to everyone what had happened. We have patriots everywhere, and our patriots had told us about a meeting that Carl Allen had with the Prime Minister on his yacht, the GG. And I explained to all of you from a live broadcast what was going on. I told you that he had come and he had originally wanted to take 20% and the government takes 80%. But by the time he finished meeting with these corrupt government officials, they said, no, let the government take 25% and you take 75%. And that was what the deal was. He didn't even come asking for that, I am told. And he began to search in 2020. And he started to find. And now, today, he is bragging about the treasure that he has found. Stories are all over the world covering what was found. CNN, Forbes, Bloomberg. Before him, many persons were finding treasure, but it wasn't documented because no one was really making serious deals with the government. Well, some people did, but a lot of people didn't make serious deals with the government. and they just came in and took treasure. One of our Aragonite miners told us that sometimes they would go down in the ship, and as they scoop, as they put the big scoop down to get the sand, they drop it down, sand would blow out, and then they would see treasure. One of them told us that he witnessed a treasure chest that was found, and it was taken straight out of the country. There was no record of it, just gone. Now this is gonna be 10 minutes. I want you to watch this. This is very important. Some serious information is in here about treasure that was found in our country and what has been going on, including the corruption. And this is from UNESCO. The UN was talking about our treasure. They had meetings on our treasure. The UNESCO feels that there are over 3 million sunken treasure ships in the world. They feel that many of them are right here in the Bahamas. They feel that there is more gold in the Bahama banks, more gold in the Bahama banks than there is in all of Spain. There are documentaries right now going on about this. The whole world is talking about this, but guess who's not talking about this? The Bahamas. I'm just going to show you a little brief clip of a documentary that's there. And we want you to research Bahamas. We want you to look for yourself. Don't take our word for it. The people who follow us and associate with us, they are researchers. They are people who go out and seek information. They don't just swallow anything that anyone gives to them. They want the facts. And they can go down and sit down because the World Wide Web is there and we have access to information. And so we encourage you. What we will do is point you in a direction. We want you to go find the rest. The whole world is paying attention to our treasure, and we are not. I want you to watch this. I'm just going to show you the beginning part of this video and then encourage you to go and watch it for yourself. But the whole world is paying attention to our treasure. The whole world. They said that this is the new gold rush. This is the new gold rush, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this.
Humankind's been around for thousands and thousands of years, and we've used ships to transport even to this day. 90% of the commerce in the world is transported by the oceans.
Throughout the development of modern civilizations, despite the dangers, human beings have always crossed the oceans, taking their lives into their own hands.
Until the mid-20th century, they didn't have very good ability to predict weather. And as a result, probably billions of dollars have been lost in the ocean just through shipping wealth on the oceans.
How many ships have disappeared? And how much wealth has accumulated at the bottom of the ocean over the centuries?
The deep is an El Dorado. There's more gold and silver in the Straits of Bahamas than there is in the Bank of Madrid.
A new gold rush is emerging, a race in which treasure hunters rub shoulders with investors, constantly searching for new leads.
C'est ça et certain qu'on va voir un bon résultat si on continue à chercher ces épaves.
How many shipwrecks? How many lost pages of our collective heritage?
This is a very important heritage for all of us. Do not commercialize it. Do not pillage it.
Shipwrecks are becoming strategic and economic targets, and politicians now enter the race.
Estas compañías de caza tesoros están arrasando.
You have not seen one case of a good treasure hunter.
And as treasure hunters and so-called guardians of history clash, the shipwrecks themselves are in danger.
In a matter of a few generations, the ancient hard drives of the past are being erased, and the legacy for future generations will be a flat line.
Ladies and gentlemen, I
Offshore
want you to
records
take
show
some
from
time to
shipwrecks
go and
dating back
watch this for yourself. You're gonna stuff that's really interesting there. You're gonna find some stuff that's gonna blow your mind. Did you hear them say it? See, this is not something that you're gonna see on TV in our country, but you heard them. It is the new gold rush, like the wild, wild west. They've been doing this for years, though. I'm gonna show you the documentation, but I want you to take 10 minutes. Some of you would take 10 minutes wasting some other time. I want you to listen to this Bahamian professor who presented to the UN. I want you to listen to his words carefully because they are selling out our country. And they told you that we were selling dreams, don't believe us. But every time we talk, we bring the facts. But they just talk and they just talk gossip and tell you, just don't listen to them. And ladies and gentlemen, the Bahamas is the new gold rush. And it started years ago. Y'all just didn't know. Miss Green, you saw the preview to that. And you heard how they're talking about the gold that's out there. How does it make you feel?
Angry, very angry. I'm upset. Our people have been robbed for years, and we surpass. If you can go far back, our people have been robbed, Lincoln, for years. Okay, and it's sad that everyone else around the world knows about this, what is going on in our country, but yet the Bahamian people are censored. It's like we don't matter. It's none of our business. All of these talk shows that come on, or all of these social media platforms, I don't want to call the names, that are giving other audience to other people, they're coming on and they're talking a bunch of nonsense. Okay? These are the things and topics that needs to be covered in this country that will empower our people, enlighten them, open their minds, give them a different level of thinking, a different level of sense of pride as Bahamians. Listen, Lincoln, this country is God's country, okay? We have everything in this country. Natural resources, the gold, the sun, the seas. We have abundance of wealth in this country. The only people the wealth is not touching are the Bahamian people, okay? Like, for example, right now, your live is being blocked on Facebook. You don't have that national platform to spread this message. Why? A leader that keeps their people dumb does not care about their people.
Yeah.
This information is all around. Bahamians, I need you to get your hands on this information and put the questions to the government. When are we going to benefit off of what is ours?
Okay, so what I'm going to do now, yeah, I am extremely upset over stuff that I found it over 2 years ago when we really started all of this search. It
Yes.
really blew my mind to see how they were keeping us dumbed down. Someone put together what was recently discovered. They put something together. This is about 5 minutes. I want you to listen to this to see what's really happening in the Bahamas right now. Someone put this together with automated voice, and I think they did a good job of it. So I'm gonna use it and play it. I want to thank you for preparing this, and I want you to watch this and see what was just discovered. Then when we're finished, I'm gonna show you how much more has been discovered. Every ship is worth $1 billion, and in some instances more. Every little artifact you see, it's not just about gold and silver and platinum. Every plate, every vase, every trinket that they have is worth a lot. I want you to watch this if you are serious about taking this to the next level. This is for serious Bahamians who are ready to take this country back. So what you're about to see is a video that someone put together to show exactly what is going on. And I like how they put it together, so I'm going to actually use this video. in order to do that. And I thank them for taking the time to do this. And more Bahamians need to set out to actually do this. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's 5 minutes.
Talk about a find. A treasure trove of jewels, medallions and historic artifacts has been uncovered in the Bahamas that date back to the legendary 17th century Maravillas shipwreck, and the public is about to get a look at it. Nuestra Señora de las Maravillas, Our Lady of Wonders, a two-deck Spanish galleon, sank on May 4, 1656, off the Little Bahama Bank in the northern Bahamas on a trip to Seville from Cuba. It had been carrying numerous treasures of both royal tax and private property. The 891-ton ship went down after colliding with its fleet flagship. It struck a reef 30 minutes later, and ultimately sank. The remains of the vessel were scattered for several miles across the ocean, with no significant portion of the ship left behind. For more than 360 years, archaeologists and adventurers have attempted to locate the debris that was lost in the wreckage. And while much of the treasure, an estimated 3.5 million pieces, out of 8, was salvaged between 1656 and the early 1990s, modern-day technology such as high-resolution magnetometers, enhanced GPS and metal detecting has allowed Allen Exploration to bring to the surface riches beyond one's imagination. In an interview with Fox News Digital, Allen Exploration founder Carl Allen said that he and his team began pulling up precious artifacts in July 2020 near Walker's Cay. High-tech tools, plus the official permission they were granted by the Bahamian government to search the northern Bahamas area, known to be a wreckage hotspot, have made for quite amazing discoveries, the entrepreneur said. We've recovered thousands of artifacts, he said. Cannons, anchors, emeralds and amethysts. We're up to about 3,000 silver coins and 25 gold coins, he said. The water in the area only reaches up to 50 feet deep, while the sand can bury treasures down to 20 feet, he revealed. Yet that didn't stop Allen from proving his doubters wrong and discovering treasures that took his breath away. When I pulled up the first valuable item, I lost my breath, he said. I couldn't breathe. I've been thinking about this my whole life. The fascinating finds also include Spanish olive jars, Chinese porcelain and iron rigging, according to an Allen X press release. The team also discovered a silver sword handle belonging to the soldier Don Martin de Aranda y Guzman. The item helped the teams identify these treasures as belonging to the sunken Maravillas. 4 pendants worn by members of the Sacred Order of Santiago, a religious band of knights active in Spanish maritime trade, were also recovered. Allen X considered the Order of Santiago jewels to be the star finds thus far. One golden pendant with the Cross of Santiago was designed in the shape of a scallop shell. It's reinforced by what appears to be an Indian bezoar stone, a famous European stone known for its healing properties. Another golden pendant garners the same cross overlaying a large, ovular Colombian emerald. 3 gold chains were retrieved, including an 887-gram gold filigree chain made up of 80 circular links and decorated with 4 lobed rosette motifs, most likely crafted in the Philippines, the group said. Allen X indicated that no exact replicas of the chain exist from other excavations in museum collections or as seen in Spanish portrait art. Allen Exploration archaeologist Jim Sinclair told Fox News Digital that these artifacts reveal how people lived in the colonial period and in the New World. As an archaeologist of 40 years, and as an original explorer of iconic wrecks such as the Titanic, Sinclair said a recovery like the Maravillas reflects an amazing leap in technology. The archaeologist also considered artifact analysis to be a really good development in terms of detecting human behavior and history. Although the worth of these artifacts most likely add up to millions of dollars, the items are PR. Iceless, said Bill Springer, Allen Exploration spokesperson. None of Allen Exploration's findings will be put up for auction or for sale. Instead, the finds will become part of an exhibit at Allen Exploration's Bahamas Maritime Museum, located at the Port Kaya Marketplace in Freeport. The museum is set to open on Saturday, August 6, 2022. It will reveal other exhibits about maritime history in the Bahamas, as well as the transatlantic slave trade and the Lucayan people. Only 45 survivors. The Maravillas exhibit also showcases the story of the ship's demise. Of the nearly 650 passengers who were on board the ship, only 45 are known to have survived. No human remains have been located. The shipwreck was a tremendous blow, Allen explained, since Spain at the time was struggling financially and the boat was jam-packed with valuables. It was one of the largest treasure ships to have ever left the Indies, which is why Allen said he expects more artifacts to be uncovered still. The mother lode has yet to be discovered, he indicated, and when it is, he said the hull would be extremely valuable. The manifest usually on these old ships, a lot of times, it was only about half of what was on the ship because there was so much contraband, he said. So, that's what's exciting. Along with launching the museum, Allen is furthering his passion for discovery and education by developing underwater archaeology programs for Bahamian kids. The big problem is, the debris is not going to stay there forever, he said. And it's a kind of shipwreck. So, I created a path for other people to do this, and I welcome it. Talk about a find, a treasure trove of...
And so, ladies and gentlemen, what you just heard was that there is a treasure trove of treasure in our nation. A treasure trove of treasure in our nation. Someone was able to come here, make a deal with some politicians, and now what is ours is theirs, and they're talking some nonsense about putting some stuff in a museum. But the problem is, yes, they're putting it in a museum, but it's still theirs. So, in other words, that's like someone coming in your house, finding stuff in your house, and say, "Hey, I taking this. I found some money in your house. I'm taking it, but I can let you keep it in your house, eh? But you can't use this. Only me can use this." That's exactly what's happening here.
Lincoln, with all of the resources that this country has, and I always just call our natural resources the nation's currency. There would be no need for a high increase of taxes or taxes, period, if our government would just monetize our natural resources, open a sovereign wealth fund, take into account all we have, enact a Freedom of Information Act, and be fair. Okay, we don't have to benefit directly from our resources if our government was applying it to our infrastructure and our service sectors. Okay,
We broke.
when I was watching that video, Lincoln, my stomach was turning.
We're
My
billions of
stomach was
dollars in
turning.
debt. Your stomach was turning. I was so upset. I was sitting here just. But notice, they're not really talking about it, but they're signing deals every day to sell this nation out. And we're just sitting back and saying, oh, the government is doing a good job because they got rid of COVID, the COVID protocol. So we love our government because there's no more COVID protocol. So, yes, we still have to wear a mask, but we love them because there's no more COVID protocols, even though they are COVID protocols. And so recently, they was in front of this new museum. And what I want y'all to notice in this, before I let y'all hear what the UN now knows about our corrupt nation, the thing, the thing I have a problem with what you're looking at now is that the persons in this picture with the biggest smiles is the two prime ministers who sold us out. The only persons you could see teeth from in this is Dr. Minnis, who made the original deal with Miss Allen, and Brave Davis.
Who closed the deal?
Look at all the teeth. Why are they
Well,
smiling better than everybody else? Is it because they straight? And so this man was able to come in our waters and they found gold change and so much other stuff. I mean, that was right there for us.
While our people, Lincoln, fight for their political party to get in just so they could get a $5,000 contract. Being distracted by the real value of this country. Yes, the crown land belongs to you. We're not going to stop coming after that. The aragonite, the sand, the salt. Lincoln, I think if our leaders could have harnessed the sun, they would have sell our sun to another nation.
Yeah.
If they could have harnessed the sun, they would have sell our sun.
Well, we got a 10-minute video that's worth watching. And this is where a report went to the UN from a Bahamian you're gonna see. And it showed about the corruption and how files just went missing. That persons were given licenses for treasure and they were hunting, but they never told you about this. You never knew that they found treasure. They found $1.6 billion worth of treasure in 1986. They found treasure in our country and the money went, we have no idea. They had many deals where treasure was found and then the files was missing or they lied about what was found, etc. And there was no oversight, nothing. We should not be a poor nation, but we are busy being distracted by politicians and their dirty tricks. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 10 minutes that may change your life. I want you to listen to this gentleman, and when we come back, we can talk about the solution because there is a solution. There's a strong solution. There's a strong solution. And it is not our old leaders selling this country out. Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to hear and know what no one in the Bahamas knows and what no one in the Bahamas has discussed, and they don't touch it in the media, but the UN knows it. Ladies and gentlemen, UNESCO.
Good morning. Normally when I give these presentations, I'm able to show beautiful pictures of shipwrecks throughout the Bahamas, but unfortunately this time I've been asked to put statistics, a very glaring example of this whole mythology of the good treasure hunter. Before I get into this presentation though, I wanted to just show where the Bahamas was and why we have such a vast amount of underwater cultural heritage. The Bahamas is located just south of Florida or just north of the Greater Antilles in the Caribbean, but we are the location of the shipping routes between the old and the new world. And a lot of our underwater cultural heritage stems from a lot of the European powers that colonized the Caribbean. From 1972 to 1999, the government of the Bahamas actually issued 71 permits for the search and recovery of shipwrecks. However, in 1999, a moratorium was put in place to stop this, and this moratorium is still in existence today. Although I'm going to show all of the permits issued, I'm only going to highlight a couple of them, because if I talked about every permit, we would be here all day. The first permit that we actually have data for was issued in 1972, and this is a treasure hunter most countries in the Caribbean are very familiar with, Bob Marks. He recovered a plethora of treasures and other items from the Bahamas, very few of which he actually turned over to the Bahamas. Unfortunately, in 1974, his permit was fortunately, it was canceled with a whole range of stories between both parties of corruption, lies, deceit, and so forth. However, unfortunately today, we have no data on exactly what all was recovered. All we know is that he worked on a very famous Spanish shipwreck, the Nuestra de la Señora Maravillas. Also, at the same time, we have several other permits that were issued, and either no file can be found or we have no activity on the files, which in some cases I find very weird when you have permits issued multiple years upon years and the file has no information. Once again, in 1982, permits were issued for the Maravillas area, but however, once again, you had a lot of disputes of and allegations of corruption, disputes, and even lawsuits between various treasure hunting companies alleging infringement of rights. One of the most classic cases of treasure hunting in the Bahamas, though, was with a permit that was issued in 1984 and expired in 1996. This was once again for the Maravillas area, and this whole case is what resulted in our moratorium being put in place. A permit was issued to Herbert Humphreys and his Marex company, and over the 12 years of salvage, he presented the government of the Bahamas with a check for $320,000. However, a huge Christie's auction in 1994 apparently resulted in millions of dollars in sales, which outraged the government of the Bahamas because they felt that they had been ripped off. So at that point, they issued a moratorium and no more new permits were issued. However, they allowed existing permits to continue. Permits were continued to be issued, and we find in many cases shipwrecks were located, and sometimes in the files it would tell you how many shipwrecks were located, but no locations, no data on exactly what kind of shipwrecks or what was found or what was recovered. Many times in the government files it says artifacts are divided, but in my investigations can't find what artifacts were divided, where they were divided, or where they're located. And to this date, we still don't know where these artifacts are. We have one case in the Bahamas where we have two cases in the Bahamas during this time where permits were actually issued to archaeological firms or archaeological groups. One is the Texas A&M institution in the United States, and they actually excavated one of the oldest shipwrecks in the New World, and we have extensive data on that shipwreck. Another license was issued to a company out of Florida, which carries a bad name, but they actually do good work. It's the Mel Fisher Maritime Heritage Institute. While they do carry the name of Mel Fisher, one of the more infamous treasure hunters in Florida, the work done by this institution is top-notch, and the reports from this shipwreck details every artifact found. We can account for everything that is being discovered, and everything has been conserved in labs. However, in the investigations, I could find also cases of artifacts, but no reports. Items recovered, but no permits issued. And so it became very difficult to trace how many permits were issued over the time. So to just give an overview, from 1972 to 1999, the government of the Bahamas issued 71 permits. 46 of these permits have no recoveries whatsoever, or no documented recoveries. 26 of these permits, either there were no recoveries, or no recorded fieldwork, or nothing on file. And some of these permits were issued year after year after year. So I question, were there really no fieldwork, or was there just no accountability? We have 19 permits that had recoveries, but most did not divide the artifacts, or there was no account of artifacts given. 2 of those were archaeological projects. And then 3 projects actually had artifacts with divisions. And I can tell you, for the most part, the government of the Bahamas received for more or less crap. When I got a chance to investigate the artifacts, I found bags that was written on it, junk coins for the government. And it amazes me that the government would actually accept something with the word junk written on it, but there was no proper oversight. And then we had the one project with a cash payment. All of this was governed under what was called the Abandoned Wrecks Act, and this has since been repealed. Since then, we've had an Antiquities Act passed that governs archaeology in the country, but made no real specific mention of underwater cultural heritage. In 2011, the government amended this act, and it defined underwater cultural heritage, but they made the mistake of trying to merge underwater cultural heritage with commercial salvage. And when I first saw the first draft of the legislation, my comment was, these two do not work together. They presented a legislation that talked about division of artifacts, and then they gave me regulations that were an exact copy of the UNESCO annex. And so my first comment to the government was, you have to get rid of one, either the 25%, 75% split, or you have to change your regulations. They made a decision to change the regulations and asked me to write new ones. And luckily for me, I was able to write ones that were so restricted, no permits have actually been issued since. Currently, though, however, we have 19 full applications before the government and another 5 cases of individuals actually making presentations to the government for our applications. Also at this time, we've had a U.S. commercial salver put a claim in for a Bahamian wreck in an American federal court. And the worst part about it was the American federal court approved his claim. The challenge that we have in the Bahamas is that the Bahamas, although a small country, is incredibly large. We have the largest exclusive economic zone in the Caribbean. And for a small country, this is bigger than all of the islands in the Greater Antilles. And if we look at the exclusive economic zones of the entire Lesser Antilles, these are the small islands in the Southern Caribbean combined, it's still not as big as the Bahamas. So we have an incredible amount of space that we have to patrol. This causes problems today. We have a lot of fishermen who know where all of the wrecks are, and they bring them up and they take it to the cash for gold locations. And our cash for gold, there's no regulations to govern these. So they're buying constantly Spanish silver and gold, and I'm always hearing stories about it afterwards. Also, we have incredible problems of looters. Since we're so close to the United States, you have a lot of looters from the state of Florida who just come over for a day and they know where all of the wrecks are. And the picture I show here is it's a picture of a melted gold, I don't know what else to describe it as, but that was looted off of a known wreck off of Grand Bahama. And the looters off of the state of Florida are so bold that they post this information online almost daily. Even on our blogs, you have this whole dissent on what should the country do. Here is an example of somebody who's arrested for looting a known wreck in the Bahamas, and the social commentary is, well, the government doesn't own that. That's in the water. It should be owned by everybody. But since 1999, the agency I work for, we've been recommending policies for responsible and modern management of historic shipwrecks in Bahamian waters based on UNESCO Convention, conservation, public access, respect for national heritage, and public benefit through heritage tourism. We've had the opportunity of doing a few small projects in our agency to show the government how these projects should work, but we're still fighting the whole myth of the treasure hunter. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I need y'all to tell us how y'all feel about what y'all just heard. Miss Green, you started off. We're going to open the phone lines. You started off.
I think this has to be a crime against the people of the highest order. And I don't know what it is going to take for our people to galvanize and wake up and demand some form of accountability from our leaders, both former and current leadership. This has to be one of the most unacceptable things. I don't think persons in any other country would allow these things to happen. You know, you have nations all around the world realizing the injustice served upon them for years, and they are waking up. I understand our nation is a nation of servitude, but how long are we going to bend and bow to the injustice that is being served across the board on all Bahamians? This is affecting all Bahamians, knowingly and unknowingly. This is going to spill over into generations to come. And we have to do something about it. You know, we can't just have some Bahamians standing up. All of us have to stand up. We cannot allow the government to continue dividing us and keeping us blind, deaf, and dumb while all of this is going on in our country. The radio talk shows, the news media, no one is informing the Bahamian people. No one is educating the Bahamian people. Our country is being picked away daily. Daily. And the Bahamian people are not benefiting. we should be able to partake in every single factor of this country when it comes to our natural resources. Why can't we? Are we not good enough as a people? Do we not deserve it? Who says that the natural resources does not belong to the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the Bahamian citizen? This reminds me, Lincoln, the Arawaks was here first, correct? They were such they were such a welcoming people. They were so hospitable. They were like they were servants. They welcome people in, and you see what happened, Lincoln? It's like we are repeating the same thing with all of our wealth and our resources. It's like we don't understand what we have. It was the same way with the Arawaks when they were here. They had all of this wealth as well. And the foreigners came in. They saw what they had. And you know what they did? They picked them and they picked them and they killed them all and they stole what they had. And this is happening right now in our modern time. We are repeating the same thing in this country.
Yeah.
Bahamians, we have to wake up before we become extinct in our own country. Let's not repeat the history the Arawaks went through.
I want to add, I feel your passion. I want to add to what you just said. And I want to put some perspective on this. The treasure that was being moved throughout this region was not the treasure of Spain. It was treasure that was stolen. It was as a result of murder, genocide, pillage and plunder, and slavery. Some people were murdered in order for Spain to get that treasure on their boats. Some people were taken advantage of. Their land was just taken. They were killed. They were raped. They were beaten and tortured and enslaved. The foreigners came with a friendly face and a smile and said, "Oh, that little thing you have there, where do you find that? What's that?" And the thing that caused them to give it up is because they didn't know the value of it.
Exactly.
To them, that was just some colored rock. That was some colored stone. And they did not know the value of it all over South America. They didn't know. So they said, "What? You want this? This little thing? Oh, we can show you where that is. There's a whole mountain full of it." And they showed them where it was. And guess what? The foreigner wasn't the one doing the work. They enslaved them and made them take that gold and silver and platinum up and take it to the ships. And they beat them and killed them. As these people fought and fought and fought. They wasn't fighting for their nation. They was fighting for their freedom. They was fighting for their children. Like, why are you for killing us over rocks? It's because they didn't know the value of what was theirs. And there's no poverty like a man who doesn't know the value of what he has. And that is the story of the Bahamas.
Lincoln, you know what is so crazy? Do you know what is so crazy? I don't know if our people are listening, but our leader said that he is not going to allow the people to benefit from their natural resources. This was sad. This was sad, Bahamians. It's like we are repeating history within these archipelago. We are repeating the same history in these modern times. Bahamians are subservients. We are a people of servitude. We are welcoming people. It's the same thing with the Arawaks. We're repeating the same thing. When are we going to wake up? We have to fight for our survival in this country.
Yes, we do. And I said all that to say that this gold and this treasure doesn't belong to Spain. It belonged to the people who were slaves. And it belonged to the people who were the so-called Indians, who had to go through this torture. It belonged to them. And so that treasure that's there waiting for you, the treasure that was left there, you heard the man say, he says, more treasure in the Bahama banks than in the banks. There's more treasure here. That was left by fate for us. We have to go and reap it. That is our reparations. That is our reparations for the murder, enslavement, rape, robbery, pillage, and plunder that we have suffered. It is now ours. And while they have spent all of theirs and it's gone, ours is sitting right on the ocean floor, preserved, waiting for us. There's so much treasure. The other day they found some treasure, a treasure ship, worth over $1 billion, and in it they found some wine in wine bottles that has aged like you can't imagine on the ocean floor. That has aged. This wine is so valuable now that it is mind blowing. There is so much treasure. And all we want is a sovereign wealth fund for us to benefit from it. That's all. That's too much to ask. But we have our smiling puppets, our puppets in pictures smiling ear to ear with these people, smiling ear to ear while they are selling us out, smiling ear to ear while we get nothing. And this is what the Bahamian people keep putting up with.
Why,
Now,
Lincoln,
go ahead.
while they think that an outside pump is an upgrade, our streets are dirty. We have families that can't even afford simple surgeries. Our country is suffering, but we decide to put politicians, parties before ourselves. We put politicians and parties before our families and before our children to come. They're living off the wealth of this country. And we celebrate we celebrate some weird things in this country, Lincoln, as a form of success and improvement of a country.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I want to make this clarion call to anyone who would listen. Per capita, we in the Bahamas have more seamen and divers than any nation in the world. We know more about the sea than any nation in the world. Why aren't we billionaires? Y'all are going in there looking for fish that's worth a couple dollars when there's trillions of dollars in treasure sitting right there on the ocean floor and y'all are sailing over it every day not knowing what to do with it. You find a little vase or a little old looking plate, don't throw that away. Don't just put it in your house. That is worth more than your house. You find an old spoon or fork or an old gem, that may be worth more than your house. And I'm calling on Bahamians to now rise up. We are the Marine Kingdom. We are the Marine Kingdom, and our wealth is in the waters. And I'm calling on our fishermen to unite and our people to come together. Our wealth is in the water. Go and retrieve our wealth. It reminds me of a story where the Christ sent Peter, into the water to get. He said, "Go in the water. The first fish you pull up is gonna have a gold coin in his mouth. Take that and go pay what you need to pay." Our wealth is in the water. Let's go get it. And so, if you are a fisherman or you have a boat, a good boat, sturdy boat that we could go there and do some stuff with, call me, 803-5995. You think they had a hissy fit when we took back our crown land that was left as reparations for us, for all that we went through. You think they had a hissy fit when they took that? Time to take our treasure. And so you got a boat, and you ready to do this? Let's hit the seas. Let's take back our treasure for the Bahamian people, because our government ain't doing it. Our leaders ain't doing it. Brave got some good money in the bank. You could have come together, get some partners together, and do a treasure hunting coup for the Bahamian people. Our government, instead of spending millions on this and millions of that, could have put together some boats put some Bahamians together, let them invest in this, and we should have been in that water. But guess what they did? They kept that secret from you for all these years. They wouldn't even discuss it or let the media discuss it. They've been lying to you. They've been saying that we have no natural resources. They've been saying that well, they've been keeping everything else secret while we are broke. We'll be selling dreams. I want to open the phone lines, Ms. Green. I want to open the phone lines now. And I want people to call in and if they have questions or if they want to say something, how do you feel about this? Let's talk. Let's talk. How do you feel about what is going on? How do you feel about what you're hearing? The phone lines are open. You can call. Call, WhatsApp call, please. WhatsApp call that number so we can keep it on the World Wide Web. WhatsApp
Many
call that.
Bahamian citizens who choose not to stand up and address this issue, what they are saying is that the way that this country is being run is good enough for their kids. This is good enough for their children. This
Wow.
is our inheritance we're looking at, and we're just spitting it away. We're
Wow.
spitting it away. There are so many countries around the world that would kill to have what we have.
Good morning.
Wow. Wow. That's stressful just to think about it.
It is.
And I have a document that I'm going to show you. And again, guys, y'all can call in at any time. 803-5995 is the number. I'm going to share my screen again because I have a document that I want to show you. We have some documents about this treasure. All right, we have some documents that shows the whole breakdown, and we're going to put this document on our website right next to this video. So you go to our website on COI TV page, and anytime we do a live, you're going to see the documents and the evidence about it right there. All right, you're going to see it right there. And so we're going to continue to do that on a weekly basis. All right, but I want to pull up a document. I'm sorry, I have to go and retrieve it first. I want to pull up a document for you. Let me go document out. And this document is an important document because it actually highlights, and we're going to put it on the website, but it highlights, it was put together by the same gentleman, and it highlights everything. It highlights all of the deals that were made. It highlights everywhere that treasure had gone, the people who got their permits, all of the permits that was given out while we got nothing. This is an interesting document. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. Yeah, I'm going to pull it up for you now. Sorry, it's a PDF I want to pull up so you can see it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been bamboozled and we've been hoodwinked, and no one is fighting for us. We've been bamboozled and we've been hoodwinked.
Lincoln, you can see now why they try to distract us with things that are so new to resolving issues in our country. They're trying to destabilize our country with all of this illegal migration, as well as I don't know, they're trying to destabilize our country. They're trying to keep us busy. They want us to fight amongst each other. They want I think they want a civil war. They want our people to move out of this country. Then I think they want to just slide in and they just want to pick us apart. This country is a gold mine. And if Bahamians don't come together and demand our government be accountable to us and to pay for crimes, there's not going to be a Bahamas left for Bahamians.
Wow. And that's the extremely sad part about this whole thing. There ain't gonna be nothing left if we don't take this serious. We got a call coming in. Let's take this call before I actually start going through this document to y'all. Good afternoon and welcome.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Bain.
Good evening.
And Charlotte, good evening. Listen, man, boy, listen, I'm very disturbed as a Bahamian listening to the gentleman doing this presentation. I feel that what should happen, a commission of inquiry should be called to look into the matters from 1974 to the present time, because based on what he's saying, it's obvious a lot of corruption and underhand work was happening. And with the commission of inquiry, they would call certain people internationally and locally, and they would have to answer some questions.
Yeah. Yeah. I 100% agree, and we're going to definitely call for a commission of inquiry on that. We're definitely going to call for a commission of inquiry. And listen, time for us to get in some boats and go there and take what's ours, man. That's the most important thing. We got to get out there on those boats and get our treasure back.
I agree with you now. I agree with you. But then a lot of stuff that was taken already, I think we could get some of that back too.
Yes.
It ain't too late for that.
Yeah.
You know, so we can look at both. We can look at both, you know, avenues. But it's mind-boggling. I mean, it's unbelievable that our people would have been treated in this manner.
Wow. All right, thank you for calling, man.
Yes, sir, thank you.
All right. And so I know how you feel. Again, you can call it 35995.
It's like there's no value to being a Bahamian when we should be walking around with gold passports.
Wow.
I know I heard people say the Bahamas is the Dubai of the Caribbean. Listen, the Bahamas surpassed Dubai. Our population is small and our wealth is on a massive scale.
It is. It is. It truly is. All right. So I have a document I'm going to show you in a second. Let me pull this up for you. Here it is. This document here is what the gentleman put together. This document actually, this shows the rape and robbery of our country. This shows how everything that went through this hemisphere had to come to our country because of how the shipping routes are. Much of the gold was stored in Cuba, but when they was ready to take it back to Spain, they had to pass through the Bahamas in order to do that. And so many of them were shipwrecked. And so our waters are full of treasure. They didn't teach you about this. They kept this secret. So again, he talked about from 1972 to 1999, they were issuing out permits. 71 permits for the search and recovery of shipwreck was issued. All right. And between that period of time, 71 permits were issued. And of course, we got little to nothing from it. And so you can see all of these different, we're going to put the document there for you so that you can actually see what transpired. But if you look at this document, you are actually going to see everywhere where they had the permit. So on this page, you can see that in 1972 to 1974, this company had an area in the little Bahama Bank, and it was the first recoveries from the maravillas, including gold, bullion, silver, bars, gold and silver coins, emerald, and jewels. Emeralds and jewelry. It was Bob Marks. It says known corruption on both sides. That means corruption in terms of our government and corruption in terms of the person who was doing it. And so there was known corruption on both sides. All right? And this is information that the UN even has. So in 1978 to 1983, Manawaki, all right, no file can be found as to the treasures they found in Manawaki. The files have gone missing. 1979 to 1984, Orange Key, no activity recorded on file. Known Spanish shipwrecks in the area. So they found the ships and they didn't even report it. They just took it. So the permit from 1979 1981 for Key Lobos, no activity recorded on file. The files disappeared. January 1980 to 1982, Lucaya Beach. Lucaya, some survey, no recoveries indicated on file. December 1980 to January, December to January 1980, Ragged Island, no activity recorded on file. So in other words, they just didn't make any record of what was found. They just took it. April 81 to April 82, North Bimini, some gold and silver coins recovered, allegedly alleged to be offloaded in Palm Beach. It's time to open up an inquiry. 1981-83, Harbor Key. No file can be found. The file disappeared. And so did the treasure. Gorda Key, 81 to 84. The file disappeared. 82 to 84, Lucaya Beach again. The file disappeared. The file disappeared. All right, and so continuing, May 82 to 84, file disappeared. That's in Memory Rock, and then 82 to 85, Little Bahama Bank. It says extremely complex file regarding allegations, disputes, denials, lawsuits, charges, and counter charges by committing salvers in Maravilla area, limited recoveries. And so this one was so scandalous that it was mind-blowing. Guess what? Not one of these was in the news. No, not one. You never even heard of this. While they were getting permits, we didn't even know that there was permits to get. We continue. In 79-84 Orange Key again, 79-84, no activity recorded on file, known Spanish wrecks in the area. 79-81, same thing. That's in Quilabos. Again, 80 to 82, Love Beach, some surveys, no recoveries. Sorry, I went backwards, reading the same thing. Okay, back to where I am. 83 to 84, South Shore, no activity recorded on file. 83 to 89, Gingerbreads. Files contain extensive documentation, including incriminating photographs concerning falsified records and unreported artifacts. Extensive recoveries said to be from wrecks of 1880 and Spanish galleon Santa Rosa. Guess what we get? Nothing. July 1983 to 84, Great Guanakee. Field work conducted, but no recoveries indicated on file. That means they take it and gone. What was that? Did I skip? Go back. Okay, Great Guanakee. Moselle Bank, Key Sal, and Settlement Point. Again, the files cannot be found. The files cannot be found. And so I'm going to skip over to the next one. Go to page 6. Spend the evening with me because we always bring the documents. And so Little Bahama Bank, 84 to 96. Wow, 12 years. And we never heard of this. Extensive recoveries of high value, y'all. Government received no artifacts, only $328,000 from the sales. You heard him mention this. Extensive recovery of high value. I told you about this fine in 86. This was worth over $1 billion in that day. $1.6 billion, I think it was in that day. Which is much more in this day. 85 to 86, Memory Rock, cannon found, permit canceled by Salva, no reason given. So, so they went, they found the ship, they tell them, hey, we only find a cannon, but we ain't want to permit no more. See you later, hey, we gone. And so they cancel their permit, so they don't have to pay no more, and they gone. They say they gone. So in other words, they took the whole fine and disappear, so they don't have to give the government nothing. And say, listen, we only find a cannon. That ain't worth nothing. That's just a cannon. And our little leaders, who didn't have that kind of international experience. You remember what happened to them with the Aragonite? They got tricked. Well, they got tricked a lot with the treasure too, and they got paid off a lot. 86 to September to October 86, Highburn Key research project, extensive archaeological research by Texas A&M. However, the government does not have in its files what was recovered and any final reports. That one gone missing too. 86 to 97, Stranger Key, many artifacts recovered, no share to government. Discovered a U.S. Civil War supply ship. They didn't give the government nothing. 89 to 97, field work and recoveries completed. Difficult to say what came from where. Artifacts are undivided, confused by false claims of platinum cannons. 90 to 99, Great Bahama Bank. Numerous cannons are removed from multiple sites, works conducted without government representatives. 90 to 91, field work conducted and shipwrecks mentioned, but no locations, no recoveries included in the file. That's Little Bahama Bank. This would be been going through as a country. That's what I'm going to read. Again, we're going to put this on our website. Right there under the video, you'll be able to see it right there. Next page. 90 to 99, extensive archaeological excavations with proper inventory, conservation, and report writing. Mel Fisher Maritime Heritage Society that's the best case that we have had. But they don't say what the Bahamas got and what we get from it. 1991, Elbow Key. Somebody's on the line. Let me answer this call and see if they're trying to call in. I'll continue. Good afternoon. Welcome. You are live. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You're live.
Good night, Mr. Bean.
Good night. How you doing?
Good night, my leader and my chairman.
Thank you.
You're all doing a good job, Mr. Camp.
Thank you.
I loving it.
Thank you.
God is good. Keep the good work.
Thank you. God bless you. All right. All right. So yeah, that's one of our supporters called, and thank you so much. We always appreciate the engagement. So I'm gonna keep reading this. You gotta see this. See, we coming with facts. We're not coming with talks like these politicians do. We coming with facts. All right. So 1991 to 1994 in Naguas located 2 shipwrecks with over 60 cannons. These cannons are extremely valuable, by the way. No recoveries indicated on file. All right. So there was 2 shipwrecks. They had over 60 cannons alone in these 2 shipwrecks, but they ain't put no recovery on the file, including the cannons. Group constantly writes government for permission to excavate. Rumors persist that the site was extensively illegally salvaged, and the group looking for legitimacy to sell artifacts. All right. So in other words, they went there, they got the stuff, and they took all the stuff, and then they keep asking the government for permission to do it. And in asking for permission to do it, that's how they're going to be able to actually sell it and have legitimacy for where they got the stuff from. We're going to take this other call. Good afternoon and welcome. You are live.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bain and Miss Green. I don't know what you. I know this is totally sickening. To think about what's been happening to our country. I mean, God has given us so much, and yet our government refuses to share with the Bahamian people. How many Bahamians are suffering today?
Yep.
How many Bahamians in Grand Bahamas suffering like you don't even understand today? All over the Bahamas, Bahamians are suffering with no end in sight. But I want to salute you, Mr. President. I want to salute you for the great vision. And look here, I call on every single Bahamian with a boat who has divers. Let's get together. Let's go hunting. Go get the treasure that belongs to the Bahamian people, man. Enough is enough of this.
Well, now we can see who's serious because I don't do talk, I do action. And so if they serious, we actually know where some of the treasure is, and we're willing to go if Bahamians are willing to participate. We actually know. We know where it is. You know, I don't open my mouth until I know and have all the facts. And so if they are Bahamians ready, we ready.
I'm just calling on every Bahamian with a boat, with a heart, to go get our treasure. I mean, you can't make it no easier than that. We have it right there sitting. Other people have come, they've taken the treasure, and they went running. So we don't have to wait on the government anymore. Mr. Bean, I want to salute you, salute the COI for the vision, for the mindset to get up and take possession of our inheritance. Everybody with the boat, real boat now. No, I don't think it'll be a word, but whoever divers, get together, Bahamians. We don't have to be broke anymore. Awesome job.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right.
All right. We have another call. We're going to go straight to it. Okay, let's see if we can get that. Start ringing. The caller, you may have to call back. It's not going through. Caller, you can call right back. We were trying to answer, but it wasn't going through on the phone. It was going through on the computer. Yeah, listen, we are serious and ready. Okay, we're going to answer this. Good afternoon and welcome. Good afternoon, welcome. You're live.
Yes, good night, my brother.
Good night.
Mr. President.
How you doing?
There's something so fishy about the government saying not charging those persons with luxury pleasure boats coming into our shores.
Yeah.
Why would the government not put tax on them coming into our shores? I believe that our Bahamas government is in cahoots with these companies, with these boat owners, to really surf our waters. Sunken treasures, and a lot of them is a part of it. They bring in all these pleasure cruises, all these pleasure boats, and they are not to be taxed anymore from the government. Nothing goes into the treasury.
Wow.
But when they come into our country, they get docked at a marina. But it's more than that.
Wow.
I believe that it is more than that. It's a shame and a disgrace. You know, I have some friends out there who are in their late 60s. These are the hardcore PLP and F and M. They don't have nothing. They just so bent on green, on red and yellow. It's almost like voodoo on them.
Wow.
They don't have nothing else. They don't have nobody else. It's just all they be looking on, I have to support them and love them, and I want them to see the picture that they have a leader who wants everyone to have. We're not looking for leaders. We're not looking for leaders. Bahamas, the Bahamian people are looking for a leader for the Bahamas and its people and its country and what we all deserve.
Yeah.
And Mr. Bain, my brother, Mr. President, you are that person. We will continue to pray for you. God bless you.
Thank you, man. God bless you too. God bless you.
Lincoln,
Yes.
the Bain.
Yes,
It
go
seems
ahead.
like everyone is withdrawing from our Bahama banks. Everyone is withdrawing from our resources except the Bahamian people. And I mean, I guess we have to create a different word for this because, like I said, this is beyond sickening. And the more you read or the more you watch the documentaries in reference to the treasures, it makes you sick.
Just hold on one second. Let me just get the call while it's coming through. Just hold on one sec. Good afternoon, welcome. Okay, we lost that person. Let me call them back. That's Jillian Bartlett. We normally lose her when she calls it. I don't know what's happening with her phone.
Now, Bahamians, y'all need to go make sure and take some swimming lessons now. So a lot of us can't swim.
Okay, we missed her. She was trying to call in. Go ahead. You can finish your point.
Yeah, like I was saying, we call it the Bahama banks. We call it the Sand banks. Everyone's withdrawing from the banks except the Bahamian people.
Wow. Wow. Hold on, let me take this call. Good afternoon, welcome. We keep losing them. I don't know if they keep touching the button. I don't know what happened. Let me try call them one more time. Okay, we're not getting them. I'm so sorry. I don't know why we're not getting through with them. And I feel you. Everyone is withdrawing from our banks except for us. We only can come and mop the floors.
and
you
and
know,
and pay taxes.
yeah, and shine the tables and pay all the taxes, but everyone else is withdrawing from our banks. And so there was a lot of permits, etc. there. We're gonna put it on our website for all of you. Let me try to get this person one more time. I don't know why we can't. It keeps hanging up when we answer. It's happening again. I think that person is doing that. Maybe they're touching the button after we answer. Good afternoon. Welcome. You're live.
Hi, Lincoln.
Hi.
I'm sitting here in a complete coma listening to this information about our wealthy tribe. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Turn down what you're listening to.
Yes. And I have some questions I need to ask because I need to get some clarity.
She have to turn down. She have to turn
Turn
down.
down. You're getting a lot of feedback, so whatever you're listening to us on, turn that down and just listen to the phone for now.
Okay. Okay. All right. I have everything turned down.
Go ahead. Now you can talk.
That's better.
Yeah.
Okay. I have some questions I need to ask first. So you said between May 82 to February 85.
Mhm.
And I noticed that which government was the government at the time?
That's Progressive Party. For that one you talked about. This is up to 99. This is up to 99 now.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
I know. I was taken in the past between 84 to 99. Which government was in charge?
Say it again, I didn't hear you.
82 to 99.
82 to 99 was both the PLP and FM.
All right. Okay, I have another question to ask you. Once they give permits, do they just let people do whatever they want and nobody reports to nobody? And everybody just go out to sea and there's no accountability to these governments? Is this what's happening?
That's not what that's what's happening, but not what's supposed to happen. There's supposed to be accountability.
All right. So the problem is we've lost all of this money, all this income to our treasury because there was no accountability between the FNM and PLP between May 82 to I think the 1999s.
Yep.
Okay. So we know what to do from here. I mean, yes, you suggested a going off the shore, right? But shouldn't we bombard them? Shouldn't we show up at their doors and let them know that this here cannot just keep going on and on and on and on? If it ain't NIB corruption, it's not receiving monies from our natural resource. When is it going to stop? We are suffering as a people in the Bahamas, and it doesn't matter what political party you're on. Our country is suffering.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? This actually have me in a coma right now. Seriously.
And trust me, there's more. You think you're in a coma now? I got one more document to drop out there. There's more. All right? So thank you so much for your call. We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, hanging with us today. Hanging with us. All right? Hanging with us. We got some more for you. Just stay tuned right where you are. And so we're gonna put this all of the fines right there. There were 46 where they alleged that they had no recoveries. There were 26 permits with either no recorded field work or no file. The files just disappeared. 19 permits with reported recoveries, but most not divided. All right, which means they didn't share nothing with the government, or account can be given for the facts. Sorry, giving up the artifacts. Two archaeological projects and three projects with division. One with cash payout. That's the $307,000 when they found over $1 billion worth of stuff. So they found over $1 billion worth of treasure. And they say to the government, hey, we give you $307,000. Y'all take that, put this in your pocket under the table, because that's more. And then put in the government just so we could say we give them something, give the government itself on $307,000. All of these that you're going to see in here, we just don't have time to go through all of them because there's some very interesting ones in there. All of these, none of these made the news, and to this day they are avoiding this like the plague. They're avoiding this like the plague. And so they,
Lincoln,
yeah,
you
go
said
ahead.
the government received, you said the government received 300 plus $1,000.
Yes,
The government,
yes, not the people, the
not the
government.
people, but the
Yes,
people is the government.
yeah.
So this fund, this fund that they received, it went into a bank account. Did it went into a sovereign wealth fund? Did it went directly into their private accounts? Where did this money go? Because Bahamians feel like they are not deserving of crown land. They're not deserving of the resources we have in this country. They're not deserving of anything. But we have a different class of people in this country, one set of people and foreigners benefiting off of our natural resources. They
Yeah.
look at you begging for your own resources, but you have persons over here fighting down their brothers and sisters politically for a $5,000 contract.
Wow.
Is it not begging?
Yeah. I have one more document I want to show the public. I'm going to show them because we've gone over 2 hours now. I'm going to show them that on Sunday when we go live. We're going to talk about other stuff because we got some other stuff to deal with. The situation at Arawaki is horrible. I mean, Arawaki right now is filthy. We got some unions getting some money, and a lot of stuff has been going on. We're going to touch on all of that on Sunday when we do our recap. You're going to start seeing more presenters with us. You're going to start seeing more people doing some stuff. We're trying to organize a legal aid program for all of you. We're trying to organize that for you so that you can call in. Maria is volunteering to do that. So me and Maria will make sure that you're able to, if you have any legal questions, you can come, you can get your questions answered, et cetera, et cetera. And we're going to do a show to teach people the law, to make sure that you're abreast of what's going on. We have to educate the Bahamian public. Okay. And so a lot of you don't really know the law, and you go off what you hear people say, but people make up stuff when it comes to the law. They make up the craziest stuff. They'll say stuff like, oh, you could run the red light after 12 a.m. No law says that. I heard some people before say, "Oh, you can keep a knife as long as it's under 6 inches." Like, no law says that. Like, Bahamians have this thing about making up laws and just saying stuff that they heard other people say. And so we want to make sure that you know your rights, and so that you know what's going on. When you know your rights, is like a power, is a powerful force. You see how I stand up in front of police officers. Now Maria stand up in front of police officers and defense force officers. How we stand up to them, it's not because we have a sword in our hands. It's because we have the law in our hearts. And when we say certain things, they know that they are powerless. And so we are going to make sure that our populace knows the law. All right? We're going to do that. And so we want you to take advantage of that. So we love that, and we love other presenters. Other people are going to be doing different stuff. We're going to call it COI TV, and we're going to be going live, and we want you to pay attention to that. All right. So We open the lines. I can take a few comments. If you see some comments there that's noteworthy. If you have some questions, you couldn't call in, but you want to put your comment there. Remember, they're also trying to block the comments on these lives, but the comments are coming through. You can see them coming from Facebook and YouTube and etc. right on the feed. That's right next to the screen right there. And so when you watch it again, you'll see that the live comments aren't the same as the actual comments is coming through because they're trying to block your comments. They're trying to block your voice. They don't want it to be seen that Bahamians are feeling the way they're feeling and saying the things that they're saying. So they're trying to block that. All right. And so, but that's why we put it up on the screen right next to the screen so that at any time you can see exactly what people were saying at that particular time. Because when you go back and watch this live, the comments on Facebook are not going to be there, but you can see them right there on the screen. We always find a way. We always find a way to make it happen. Someone says, "What happened to your other page, Mr. Bain?" Which other page are you talking about? Because I know it came down on the coalition and we put it back up. The coalition feed on the coalition went down and we put it back up. We're using technology to fight what the government is doing, trying to silence us, and that's why we did this technology to make sure that you can see your comments, and also so that when they knock us down during the live, once we see it, we can put it back up during the live, which we've never been able to do. Someone says your main page. You mean the Lincoln Bain page? I'm hoping that's still up. I haven't looked at it. I'm hoping that it's down.
Yeah, so that's why I was going to encourage our viewers to share the YouTube page or on the Facebook pages. When we start talking about this type of information, uh, they always seem to try to shut it down or shut it down. So, we must be saying some truth.
Yeah, in fact, all of the let me see. No, one of the Facebook pages is up. No, it's saying it is up. So I don't know why
I
you.
can't get.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is why we are broadcasting the way we are. This is why we're doing this. They can't stop us. We are everywhere. So make sure I share the message. I'm seeing it on my page, and so maybe y'all aren't seeing it on your end. Yeah, I'm seeing it on my. I can see the page with 20,000 followers. Okay, all right. So it looks like it's up. Someone says it's not up. So for some people it's up. Some people it's not up. That governments have been given certain permission to do certain things and certain access to get certain things. So Marvin Evans, good day, my brother. We see you out there pushing, doing what you're doing every day. He says it's not up. I'm
It's
looking at
not
it. It
up.
says so. For some people, it's up. For some people, it's not up. But guess what? It's always on our website. It's always there, and it's always on the other pages. All right. So if it's not up there, you can go somewhere else to see it. We put this on so many platforms. There's nowhere they can stop us. All
It's
right. And
amazing how our government, our new day government, current and past, are always trying to silence the truth, always keeping the people in the dark. The only thing we are to our leaders is a number. A number. We're not people to them. Just a
yeah,
number.
yeah,
Why
yeah.
suppress this
And
type
it
of
is sad.
information?
Yeah.
Lincoln is not
And
on the page. We cannot see it.
all right. Well, that means they took it down. I have no idea why they would take it down. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we have put it on all the platforms. Every time we came to talk about this treasure, they've taken down my page from last week. When we were going to talk about it, before we started talking about it, they took down the page. Right when I said, now we're going to talk about the treasure, knocked out. So if the Bahamian people can't see what's going on, then it's on them. All right? If the Bahamian people can't see, then it's on them. Let's take this call. Oh, we lost them. All right. If y'all can't see, and if y'all are gonna allow these political paid trolls to continue to spread gossip and nonsense and all this foolishness, and if y'all gonna allow these governments to fool y'all, then so be it. Someone's Angie Clark says, I can see your page. All right. So some people can and some people can't. So they're trying to block it. They're using some software to block it, and we're using software to try to override what we're doing. So this is a war. We're right now in the middle of a digital war, a cyber war, to get the information out there. So this is real, and this is happening before your very
I
eyes.
see a question. I see a question from Diane Hanna. Lincoln,
Mhm.
can we get an injunction to stop the sale of our natural resources?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can get an injunction. Injunction, of course, costs money. Fred Smith and them. Listen, the Haitians put. I heard they put $2,000 each, and it was 177 of them what came together, and they put $2,000 each. Um, to get their injunction out there. All right, to do what they were doing. They weren't playing. All right, it's going to take some money for court, et cetera, et cetera. We already have several court cases we're running right now. We have at least I think 4 or 5 court cases right now that we filed against the government. That's in there, and but we need some injunctions now to deal with our treasure, our natural resources, and all the stuff that's going on. All right. But in the meantime, we don't need to stop Carl Allen from doing what he's doing. He already got his license. He's doing what he's doing. He's getting the treasure because Minis gave him the license, even though there was a moratorium. We don't know when that moratorium stopped. They didn't even discuss that. This was not in the news. No news reported that this man got his license. He said he got it in 2020. He started. He did an interview, and he said in 2020 is when he started searching in the Bahamas. In 2020, we heard nothing about this. Absolutely nothing. When I started doing the research and seeing what was going on, I was shocked. I revealed it to the Bahamian people. What the government did was call an election because they know that once they call an election, people are going to be so divided by politics. They're just going to pick a side, and the information doesn't matter anymore at that point. Question is, are you going to let them do that to you again? Are you going to let them do that to your family again? We got another call coming in. Good afternoon. Welcome. You're live.
This is being used in 2020. They granted permission. I thought that was it was lockdown, man. That was COVID time. What kind of permission does man get?
Well, that's what he claims, that in 2020, while we were locked down, is when he started. That's what he claims.
Man, that's a matter to look into because as far as I know, we was on lockdown. And that was no paper, but no permission granted.
That is correct. That is correct.
That way. There's a minister to answer the payment people, but that man, when did he grant this man permission? If we have a moratorium on that, it should have come to the public knowledge to say that, okay, we open it up now and we gave this gentleman or number of persons permit to go ahead and salvage and seek treasure, upon the treasure, because I mean, we need to know these things.
Yep, I agree. And so we were locked down, and the minister and those were signing deals and doing all this stuff. And guess what? While we were locked down, I was going live and I was letting the people know exactly what is happening. Our people were informing us, but we weren't
What else is
listening.
doing with the main right locked down?
While we were locked down, I mean, they were doing so many stuff. They had the illegal immigrants doing what they want to do. There was so much happening. It will take us weeks to really sit down and just list to you the stuff that Minister and them was doing while we were locked down.
Wow.
I'm going to actually show an article from Carl Allen where they actually interviewed him. They had question and answers with him. I'm just going to talk about that for a minute. I have another document I want to release to show persons. I'm going to release that document on Sunday. But I'm going to share my screen and show Carl Allen what he had to say with what's going on. All right. Thank you for your call.
We must need to call him in and interview him.
Yeah, I think we know. Yeah, and we probably need to call him in and see what he has to say so we could jail Minas. Because Minas definitely,
jail somebody.
yeah, Minas needs to be jailed over this.
Well, somebody, I know it's business, but somebody need to go to jail.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, thank you.
Okay, good night.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you Carl Allen what he had to say. I mean, like I said, every single news media out there is covering this stuff, and we are not paying attention to it. Our news media is hiding this stuff. They're not saying anything about this. No real questions to the governments, and all the governments keep doing is changing hands every couple of years. So you stop thinking about them. You start thinking about the other crew. That's all they do. Let me see if I can pull this window up with Carl Allen. I want y'all to see that these fellas are talking. They're not hiding. It's just our media not saying nothing. Our government not saying nothing. That's it. All right. Just trying to pull this up for you. Ms. Green, you could read a couple of them comments while I'm pulling this up. It's going slow for me. I don't know why.
Sure. Angie Clark states the media was bought a long time. Dylan Gomez states, this is the Facebook with a comment. I am sad to say that our country is going so fast, Lincoln. It's going so fast. Veronica Ward from YouTube, watching from YouTube, states Bahamians need to now guard our borders from Inagua. Let the Defense Force need our men out there on watch. We need to protect our country because we in a messed up condition.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm going to be able to pull it up now. Yes. Let me share. You keep going while I'm pulling it up.
Dylan Gomez from YouTube, watching from YouTube, says that it's the research equipment that we need to get. We have the boats, we have the divers. It's the equipment, the research equipment.
Yeah, C is correct. And there are persons willing to invest if they know that there are people who are serious. And guess what? Some of the wrecks have already been discovered, so you don't actually need the equipment for it. It's right there. And like the fella said, there are persons who know exactly where it is. Mr. Pateman, Dr. Pateman. There are persons who know where it is, and there's persons who go there and fish it up every so often. Just come and take some and go. And so I'm sharing my screen now, and the Marlin, which is a well-known publication for persons who are into that sea life. This was an article they did on Carl Allen, meet the fisherman, hunter, diver, philanthropist Carl Allen, passion, um, and they questioned him. They had questioned him like, what are your first memories of Walker's Key? And he talked about his stepfather and how he went up and how he went on the key. Uh, they asked him, how did you come to own the island? Because he bought Walker's Key. And he talked about how he bought it from a 92-year-old woman, not a foreigner. And once our islands or keys or etc. goes to foreigners, it never comes back to Bahamians. And so it went out, and he was able to buy it. What progress have you made, and what challenges have you faced? He said, we started work on the marina, you're talking about on Walker Ski, in 2019, but Hurricane Dorian stopped us in our tracks late that year. We faced everything from the weather, pandemic, et cetera, et cetera. He talked about what all they did and what all they went through, and that's Walker Ski. He says, you were adamant that walkers remain open to the public rather than becoming a private enclave. And he said he promised that to the lady. He said, treasure hunting is another passion of yours. How did you get started? He said, I have a huge passion for hunting, fishing, and diving, and that incorporates all three. I met Mel Fisher in Key West when I was 20, and I got the treasure hunting bug so badly that I almost did that for a living. I asked him on one time if, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to read the whole thing, all right? So they talk about some find or whatever and what made him got interested. He said, find anything interesting? That's the question. The answer. So far, we've brought up silver, gold coins, amethyst. That is, of course, the very valuable. Uh, I don't know what to call it, but kind of you could call it excretion of whales. That's very valuable. Um, Emeralds, anchors, and a cannon. Lots of musket balls. The biggest find was an emerald encrusted brooch. That's pretty amazing. And we also found an intricately carved gold chain that's about 11 feet long. The story is that King Philip IV was losing Spanish wars in the Netherlands, France, and England. So this ship was part of a fully laden treasure fleet heading back home to pay for it all. The king was also in failing health, so he asked the Pope how to make it to heaven after his death. The Pope said Philip should deliver to the Vatican a life size statue of the Madonna and Jesus made from solid gold. We believe the statue could have been aboard Maravillas. It would present one of the most significant finds in the world. Um, and so these are some of the questions he was asked. And we want you to go out there and do your research. There's a lot of information out there. He talks a lot more than I just read. But there's a lot of stuff out there. He did video interviews, he did written interviews. He talked about how he started doing this whole thing in 2020, with the treasure and stuff like that. That's when he started initially. And so everyone all over the place is talking about this. If you go on Forbes, Bloomberg, all over Europe, everyone is talking about this. How is it the Bahamians are not? And this is the same thing I said to you as relates to the Ragonite. The whole world is running out of sand. Everyone is talking about the sand and that situation. And the UN started putting certain things in place for certain countries to stop touching their sand because they're running out. It's the most used natural resource in the world, but only us is not talking about it. Bahamas, if y'all ain't wake up yet, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. They're making billions from us all around. All around. Last week we showed it to you again. What the Attorney General said about the billions they are making from our natural resources. The billions that they're making. In case you missed it, I'll show it to you again.
Back. Well, despite international companies making billions of dollars from our country's natural resources, the Bahamas has not seen 1 cent of that money. That, according to Attorney General Carl Bethel. Bethel made those comments while reading the Biological Resources Bill for the first time in the Senate today, which he says will ensure that Bahamians benefit directly from any foreign company using our flora and fauna.
For the first time in our history, provide a means to fully regulate the exploitation of genetic and biological information gleaned from the flora and fauna of the Bahamian ecosystem throughout our country, which has been utilized in the past by a bunch of cosmetic companies to make billions of dollars with not a cent coming to the Bahamian people. And so we are, and this bill, when we get to it, and you will see that it is for the benefit of every Bahamian. Every Bahamian will benefit.
Again, Ms. Green, how does this make you feel?
By the time as I get through expressing how I feel, people will label me as a very emotional person. But you know what, Lincoln? I think that's what's missing out of our country: emotions, feelings, the love for our people. Because if we truly did love our people, We would want them to see them benefit in this country from the resources of this country. It's just sickening to know that our country is suffering. Our people are suffering from Grand Bahama, Abaco, right here in Nassau. I mean, all throughout our family of islands, we have persons suffering when we're sitting on a gold mine. I mean, you have other countries around the world that are allowing their citizens to benefit directly from their natural resources. Countries with way less problems than what we are faced with larger population. Okay,
Wow.
we need to realize that the natural resources is the nation's currency. And a lot of the problems and issues that we are faced with in our country when it comes to funding, funding our country in terms of infrastructure, all of our social services, hospitals, schools, education. It's right there, Lincoln. It's right there. And then we
Wow.
have that new Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment.
Hmm.
We are actually paying the minister for that ministry to run that ministry. But we haven't heard nothing from that minister concerning that ministry since they got in, Lincoln. And this right here was supposed to be the highlight of our country, our natural resources. But they said
Wow.
that they started the ministry and everyone praised and clapped and that was it.
Wow. So we spoke for a long time today. I see someone going back and forth with someone. I think they're calling him a troll called Trevor Only Me. I think you have some questions that he wants us to address. I don't have a problem taking any questions right now. So if that person have any questions, anything they want us to deal with, we'll do that because that's what we do. And this is the place for persons who have questions, etc. I think they were talking something about the immigration situation. I think they were still focused on that. I think that person that asked, said that all the countries didn't sign. Listen, the countries that didn't sign didn't stand behind Biden on the stage. Grave Davis was standing behind Biden on the stage, supporting it, right? And so let me see. Let me see if Trevor, this person, has something, an actual question, and we can address it. That's what we do. We don't run from questions or anything. If they do, this is the place for it. All right. So we'll just give him a minute, see if he does. Someone was calling in just now. We lost them, and so if not, then so be it. But I can say this to everyone listening to this. I am a proud organic Bahamian. I was told of a post by Marlon Johnson. Marlon Johnson. Um, I was told of a post by Marlon Johnson where he is trying to say that we shouldn't be calling ourselves organic Bahamian. It seems like every time there's something to make Bahamians proud or make us feel like we are somebody, there are these same house Negroes like Marlon Johnson who want to bring you as a people down. They want to keep that around your neck. And Marlon Johnson was one of the persons with Minis and and the former Minister of Finance. What's his name? I don't even remember. It's Peter Turnquest. Um, who destroyed our economy over the last several years. Absolutely destroyed it. Marlon Johnson was on social media, caught many times lying to the Bahamian people, outright lying, telling outright lies where he was caught. He was caught trying to intimidate because he is an atheist who doesn't believe in God. And everyone is entitled to their opinion. If you don't believe in God, that's your business. We don't care about that. But he comes on social media insulting people who don't believe in God. So while he is saying that it's insulting to others to call ourselves organic Bahamian, he has no problem with insulting you for believing in God, calling you fools and stupid and cursing God on social media, and the government found it right to make him the financial secretary. And it's these same kinds of people that will insult you for your belief, but they don't want you to have. They insult you for your belief, but they don't want you to stand up for yourself. I am an organic Bahamian, and so Luby George shared his post and said Lincoln should read this or whatever. Luby George, you are a traitor to this country. I am not interested in the word of Marlon Johnson, who was instrumental in destroying this country over the last 4 years, who is instrumental, who does not believe in God and went about insulting other persons. And I'm not interested in anything that you have to say, Luby, who also doesn't believe in God. And again, we don't have a problem with anyone who doesn't believe in God. We have followers who don't believe in God. That's between you and your God or the not God. That's between y'all. But when you are coming out and insulting other people and calling them stupid and fools for what they believe in, etc., then that's on you. All right? When you and the difference is when you are a leader in government and you are forcing your beliefs on others, whether that's your belief in God or your non-belief in God, when you are forcing that on others, that's a different story. And so when Marlon Johnson was forcing his atheist beliefs on others as a leader in this way, if it was just, him saying he don't believe in God, then, okay, that's his business. But when he is writing on social media to the private schools and saying they have no right to teach children about God in religious knowledge classes when it's a religious school, that's wrong. That's evil. And I had to show him the actual law on it. He read one, but he didn't read right after it. He read where you can't force people to learn about religion in schools, but it said right after that, the next section, it said, but this doesn't go for religious private schools. It said it right there, but he quoted one and didn't quote the next paragraph. And this is the evil kind of people that we have in place who disagree with everything that could benefit us as a people. And I spent too much time on them already. Luby Georges, your place is outside of this nation. You are an enemy of the Bahamian people. You have proven that. You condone illegality. You do not speak for all of the Haitian people. There are Haitian people who understand that we don't need this country destroyed. There are Haitian people who understand that we don't want to turn the Bahamas into Haiti with the same corruption, etc. There are Haitian people who understand that. And they support our stance. Our stance is not against Haitians. Our stance is against illegal immigration. Our stance is against corruption. Our stance is against treating Bahamians differently than now you even treat the illegal immigrants. Tell them Bahamians they must come off the land, but the legal immigrants, you can't touch them. Tell them Bahamians they're criminal for being on land, but the legal immigrants, oh, don't touch them. The legal immigrants can build all the houses they want. But you have a police officer, a white police officer coming and saying, hey, you got permission to build this? You got get off this land and shooting gun in the area? That's what we come to. It's our land, and we taking this. Y'all could like it, love it, or lump it. This ours, and we taking this. The Bahamians are ready and serious. That treasure in that water is ours, and we taking this. So we want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight. God bless all of you. We was trying to give that person a chance to put their what they had to say there. We didn't see them, but we thank you for your support. We want to ask you to continue your support. You can go to our website and you can donate to us. We cannot do this without you. You can go to our website and you can donate to the cause. You can donate to this movement. We need your assistance. That's the only way we can get this done. We need your help. All right. Again, you got expenses. Those parties have been raping and robbing this country for 50 years. They have their little stuff. They have to raise money. They have their little boat crews and their little different stuff. We need your support. And so make sure you go to our website and you click on the donate button and you donate to us. Okay. Again, we account for every dollar. All of our members can see every dollar in, every dollar out. That is what we do. That is how we operate. All right. And so, ladies and gentlemen, please continue to support what we are doing. This is like a full time job. All right. For all of us, it's like a full time job. We are in this. And sometimes we do get weary. Sometimes, it is rough and it is tough, but we keep pushing because we believe in exactly what we are doing. We believe in this. So I want to thank Maria and Charlotte and everybody else who has been pushing and making this happen. God bless all of you. All right. And so, Miss Green, you have any last words before we tune out?
Yes, if Trevor can try to call in again, because for some strange reason he thinks that we know is his number to block his number. It makes no sense. So
We don't
Trevor,
block
you can
them.
try, yeah, if you can try to call in again, because that was a ridiculous statement. We have to first know your number to block your number. So can you please call in again? Thank you. We will
Oh, we're going to
wait.
have
We
from
will
a
wait.
PLP Troll Live. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have from a PLP Troll Live. No, we don't block numbers. There's no reason to. And I don't even know his number to block it. So the phone is here waiting on you. Please call in. We're waiting. I think he just doesn't really want to call in. Call in. I hope you're calling the right number. The number is on the screen that you can call in. We'll wait a few minutes and we'll let you say what you have to say. We'll give you that platform. We're not like the government who is trying to muzzle people, who is spitting out facts or who's spitting out their opinion. We're still waiting. Please call in. Please call in. We're waiting. I don't think he actually wants to call.
Trevor, it's 803-5995. 803-5995.
Nah, he's not going to call. He's not going to call. This Den Hanna says that he was calling me a liar. Lie about what? We show proof of everything we say. We always give the facts. We don't have anything to lie for. What was he saying he was lying about? I don't understand what he's saying. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for your support. We don't see him anymore. But again, when we come again live on Sunday, he's welcome to come and he's willing to say what he has to say. We're still waiting. No. All right. So remember, we're tuning live from all over the world right now, including some specific places in Europe, in Asia, and in Russia. We're tuning in live from Facebook, YouTube, etc. So if they block one, you could just go on the next one. What happened last week was they blocked my page, but we still was up on other pages, and so we had lots and lots of views. All right, someone says give him 1 minute more. Give him 1 minute more. All right, we'll give him 1 minute more. 1 minute more, Trevor. You said you wanted to call in. You have 1 minute more. And again, we listen to let any troll state their piece.
The stage is yours, Trevor. Please call in. We really would like to hear from you.
No, he's not going to call in. You see, what I love about the supporters of the COI is that they are intelligent. They're intelligent. They do their research and they can actually speak on something. The supporters of some of those other parties, they just want to see who could curse the loudest or shout the loudest. And they don't put thought. They just put raw loyalty to party above everything else. What the COI is about is the Bahamas and Bahamians. All right, this is not even about a party. This is about a nation. This is about a country that we are gonna fight for. And so we thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. If you love and support what we're doing, please go to our website and support us. You can click on the donate button and support us. We're going to put these documents up on the website, once this live goes down, we're gonna go and put them up, and so you can see some of the documents that we were talking about tonight in its entirety, and you can even download them and have them. All right. So we want to thank all of you for tuning in. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to know and understand, that change is definitely not coming. That change is there.
Thank you.